Tell me what these three things have in common. I get the most work done when I'm on the plane. I get the most work done after 8 p.m. when my team is logged off for the day. I get the most work done before 8 a.m. when I work from 6 to 8 a.m. These are all things I've heard entrepreneurs say as I've worked with them on refining their own productivity routines. And what they all have in common is that these are scenarios where you have turned off the part of your brain that is constantly monitoring whether there's messages waiting for you. And so you've probably heard before that there's this powerful effect on productivity that comes from reducing task switching. And that's where, you're jumping from one task to another. We tend to underestimate the amount of time it takes to pick up where we left off, to get our brain to remember exactly where we were on a project before we switched. And so that's not good. You try to reduce that and minimize it. But what you may be less aware of is the degree to which task switching is actually impacting your focus, your concentration, and the speed at which you get things done without actually task switching. And that's because you're monitoring, you're switching back and forth just in your mind. You're not switching which project you're working on, but you are switching over just momentarily to check to see if there's an unread message for you on Slack, and whether that's because you've got the desktop version open and you can see a little indicator of how many messages are waiting for you, or if you've got a browser window open to it, or whatever messaging platform your team uses. We want to close those down whenever you're in focus mode. And if you don't have focus mode yet, let's put that in place first. Don't spend a lot of time watching podcasts or listening to me talk about obscure sort of like brand new ideas, when the tried and true proven things that are very easy and very clearly help with productivity and have been studied enough to where there's no doubt that it actually works. It's not new, it's not cutting edge, so it feels less cool, and yet it's more proven. We want to stack your productivity success on the basic foundations first. So if you haven't paused to consider, how often do I check notifications? Could it be that if I reduced the visibility of notifications, or if I had periods where my team knows I'm not checking at all, and they understand that that's my focus time, that I would get more done? So here's your challenge this week. Just ask yourself that question. To what degree is my mind constantly monitoring messaging, and how can I create just a little bit of space where I'm not expected to check to see if people have messaged me so that I can get more done? How could that impact my overall productivity as a person who has to think for a living? Carve out just a minute or two to think about that. You'll be glad you did. Talk to you soon.